Ah, it really is the most wonderful time of the year. It really, really is. And I'm not talking about the kids going back to school. Maybe a little bit of it is that. As far as I'm concerned, the week after Labor Day is without equal. Maybe if there's one week that could compare in the area that I'm talking about, it would be the first week of January. It would be the week after New Year's. But really that doesn't compare because then it's snowy, the days are short. Most of us have had far too many holiday meals and we've got to get back to the gym, and that's like work. But meanwhile, right now, the weather is phenomenal. I think we're actually getting some summer weather. The days are long. We're sporting our best summer tans. Most of us have had some R&R over the last couple of months. If we haven't taken a formal vacation, we've at least had, the August long weekend and the September Labor Day long weekend. So we're kind of filled up, right? So when you look at it this way, the week after Labor Day really is the most wonderful time of the year. It's a time of new beginnings, as Melissa mentioned. Kids are going back to school. I remember this was especially true in elementary school for me anyway. I would kind of botch up my grades every year, and then you'd start a new year and it'd be like, hey, it's a clean slate, right? I'm going to be an A student this year. And so there's that clean slate for students. And then for families, schedules are cleared, right? We often get kids into sports and we get really filled up with activities through the winter and the spring, and then summer we kind of spend family time. But now our calendars are clear, our schedules are clear, they're starting to fill up again because school's begun and kids want to get involved in other things. But right now it's clear. And then for the church too, it's a time of new beginnings. Really, as far as church outlook goes, this is when ministry starts to begin formally. Our growth season is really from September through the end of June, and then our summer months we do our Blockbuster series, and we hope new people come, but we recognize too that many people are away during that time. So it's a time of new beginnings, and so in that regard, I think it is the most wonderful time of the year. But before you go committing to too many things, before you completely load up your schedules or your day planners, either yours personally or your family planner, think back to what it was like at the end of May, or think back to what it was like in June. You remember that? How many of you were feeling stretched pretty thin? How many of you were feeling in need of a vacation? How many of you wanted some R&R and felt like you were overextended at the end of May or early June? Raise your hands if that's true. Okay, overwhelming majority. I expected 50%. I saw at least 80% of the hands went up. Maybe we're just a kind of crowd that wants vacation all the time. Those of you who didn't have your hands up, you know what we call that? We call that denial. All right? Denial. And I was the same way. I mean, let's face it, things don't really slow down between now and the end of June for most of us. It's a long 10-month stretch, especially if you're not careful. Especially if you say yes to everything and aren't able to say that two-letter word that's so difficult for some of us, no. No. And it can be tempting to say yes, if not to everything. It can be tempting to say yes to too many things or far too many things. And I want to show you what that's like, just illustrating from my own family. My kids have been back to school for 1 week, like most of you who have kids. And here's what they wanted to do. Eric and Allie, they've got a paper route. And so they deliver papers Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday for a couple of hours each night of those 3 days. And they want to keep delivering papers this year. I think it's their third year delivering papers. 9, 10, 11, fourth year delivering papers. And they want to keep delivering them because their grandparents are taking them to the Netherlands next spring, and they want to have some spending money for that. So they're gonna. That's a non-negotiable, they said. And Eric is playing fall football with the Cambridge Wolverines, and so he's got practices on Tuesday nights, Thursday nights, which ironically are paper nights too, which makes it kind of crazy. And then he plays a game either Saturday or Sunday afternoons. And then Alika, who's running cross country with her school, also wants to play basketball. So she'll be out a couple nights this week. And we've said yes to all those things as parents. We've said, okay, you're allowed to have one fun, non-school activity. So Eric's is primarily football. and Allie's is basketball, and the real reason they're working is because I make them work. I'm just joking. But if they had their way, they would continue doing all the things that they did last year in addition to what they want to do this year. Alika was in voice lessons, and so she had that every week. Eric was taking guitar lessons, so he had that every week with practices at least 5 days a week, and band room on Saturdays. And we've just said, those are good things. But we can't say yes to everything, and you can't say yes to everything. Because if we do, Mom and I are going to be like ships in the night, right? You've seen the bumper sticker, Mom's Taxi? That's what it would be like. We would just be passing each other. I'd be taking Eric one direction, she'd be taking Allie another direction. And we'd be so busy doing that we wouldn't have any time or energy left to just be a family, which is just so important. And from numerous conversations that I've had with many of you and with people that I talk to in the community at the Y and so forth, I know that this scenario that I just spelled out is something that we all deal with, whether we have children or whether we don't. Because it's just so easy to say yes. So easy to fill up our schedules, and there are just so many good things that we could be doing with our time. And this morning I want to look at how it can be different. Because it doesn't have to be that way. If you and I are committed to working at it, things can be different. And I'm not saying that you'll never go through kind of a busy season. But hopefully that'll be kind of a temporary thing. And most certainly, if you work at it the way that we're going to talk about this morning and next week, you can be centered in those times. You cannot lose your focus. You won't lose who you are and what makes you special. So this mini-series that we're doing this week and next week is called Greater Things, right? Greater Things. And if you like what you hear today, then you're going to want to come back next week for part 2. And then, as announced earlier, in 2 weeks from today, so not next Sunday, but the week after that, we're going to be having our grand opening here at the Cambridge Center Galaxies. And we've been here for maybe 7 or 8 weeks, and we're still working out some kinks. We're still trying to streamline our setup and our takedown. As you know, we're still voting on which theater to meet in. We had a vote last week. It was 25-2 for Theater 2. And a lot of people didn't even vote because they said, it's just so obvious. But if you leaders want us to fill something out, maybe we'll do that. But 2 weeks is our grand opening, and it is a big deal. I haven't been as excited about anything dealing or pertaining to River City Church probably ever as this grand opening at the Cambridge Center Galaxies. I think this is really just a serendipitous God thing. And I just am looking so forward to what he's going to do. You can see behind me, if you've got good eyes, we've got a little pyramid here of popcorn boxes. All right, we have another 210 of these in my office. I think Greg's got some pictures. Do you have the pictures, Greg? No pictures. Okay. Oh, you do? That's my office. Okay, there's 210 boxes of President's Choice microwave popcorn, and in those boxes there are 24 bags, which makes 5,040 bags of popcorn. And I did a bit of math this week. If I ate a bag of microwave popcorn every day